Agency transformation is a subject that the IPA have covered really extensively over the last few years and done a really interesting job on. I'm going to share some learnings that we've accrued from the work that we've done over the past few years, but I'm also going to talk about the near future as well. And because we're in a conference environment and I'm talking about the near future, I can say anything I like. And it may be true, it may not be, but bear with me and I'll be very glad to take some questions at the end. As a client, still having done more time as a client than as an agency chief, my experience of working with media agencies, and I'm specifically going to focus on media agencies, although some of what I say may be applicable across the wider sphere of agency environment. Having worked as a client very closely with a lot of media agencies, my impression of media agencies was absolutely that they were full of very bright, very clever, very curious, very entrepreneurial people. But their businesses and the way that they operated sometimes, to me, felt reactive and quite conservative. Having stepped onto the other side now and got inside a media business, I can tell you that some of that comes from a kind of cultural impact of being responsible for other people's money and a loss of it. It makes you quite reactive and pretty careful at times. But actually, generally, especially these days now, agencies are doing a really good job of grappling with what the implication of the digitalization of all media means. But we're set for one hell of a lot more change. And change, with its shaven head and plastic furniture weaponry, is breaking up that cozy broadcast communications model that we all look back with nostalgia when we watch Mad Men. We all know that digital technology is driving the change in consumer attitudes and consumer behavior, how they choose to interact with brands or choose not to, the way that media is interacted with or media is ignored. This is now a truly uncertain world for marketing. Digital technology, one thing, a word that we haven't heard a lot of today, which is surprising considering who our hosts are, is data. Digital technology begets vast quantities of data. Data complexity and exponential data supply creates massive challenges for how to market brands. We all know this. We're all living through it. But of course, it also creates huge opportunity as well. And that's even if you consider yourself to be a brand marketer, someone who exists at the polar opposite end of the marketing environment today, right away from acquisition businesses. We're seeing it already in smartphones, and I attended the Google conference on Tuesday, which was all about that subject. And it is truly exciting and very scary what it means for, I'm trying to remember the phrase that Ivan used to describe them, mobile addressable computers or mobile addressable screens. You really think about what that means going forwards and the immediacy, the way of being able to reach people being able to act, purchase, almost as an afterthought. It's quite extraordinary. But I can tell you that the impact of the convergence of TV and internet and the production of direct, not proxy data, which is what we're currently planning with most of the time, at an individual level will enable smart marketing organizations to create a level of understanding about their consumers at a new and microscopic level that will really power sea change in the way that we operate currently. It'll maximize the effectiveness of our communications when we get it right, and it will also minimize wastage at a level kind of undreamable at the moment. Media agencies, fortunately, thinking about what we need to transform and turn into to secure our futures in this environment, fundamentally are data businesses. Data analysis and data manipulation is how we create insights, is how we formulate plans, is how we optimize schedules, and it's how we negotiate buys. The future of the media agency lies with the media agency's ability to harness consumer data, performance data, media data to help clients gain competitive advantage in an uncertain market. If we do this, agencies have the opportunity to become a growth engine for their clients' business in a more tangible way than I think we currently are. Ivan was absolutely right earlier. The strategic approach will be consistent for marketing and for the application of marketing down through media channels. But we need to build on these existing capabilities hand over fist and quickly. Gearing up for this change requires mindset change and openness to change. And at Vizeum, a few years ago, we rebooted the agency. It's really interesting, actually, to see the commonality between what we did and what John's been doing. A huge amount in common. It's absolutely all about opening the agency up. We used a slightly different phrase. We call it start from a different place. At its core, it's all about recognizing that we should never assume that the way that we've been doing things for time immemorial in marketing is appropriate going forwards. Many aspects of it will be, but there are many aspects and many ways and new methodologies that we're going to need to adopt and to pioneer. The single most powerful way that we brought this transformation into the agency was when, I think it was about 18 months after we launched Start from a Different Place, we were able to bring it to life in terms of a custom-designed office space, brand new office space, and one that we were absolutely able to engineer to our specifications. That meant no offices. Beyond that, it meant no walls. There are no walls in our offices, which becomes really embarrassing if you, not that it happens to us very much, win awards or are given a piece of artwork to put up in your office. But what it creates is an environment that is far less stuffy, where senior people don't hide in offices. There are no offices. They have to be hands-on. They have to be engaged with clients' business and driving those businesses forward. It's about creating openness to collaboration, getting rid of departments, everybody existing on a single floor. It's interesting, geographically, that kind of geographic proximity means that you can cope with the pace of modern marketing. It sets you up to work in the way that we all need to going forwards, which is in a much more open and collaborative way. At the very least, going forwards, media agencies' roles around the big idea, which we've heard so much about today, will become providing two really essential things: providing deep consumer insight based upon the data we already have and the richness of data that we'll be able to access going forward. It's also about media platform context. Having a really clear understanding that in a rapidly changing and faddish environment, what and how media can engage with the audiences that we're trying to target. Skills and roles will obviously have to develop. Something else that we've heard from, consistently from the other presenters today is that everybody has to be digital. That's absolutely at the core of the Start from a Different Place promise. And 3 years ago when I launched it, the first hand that went up, as I was trying to explain what this meant and what a sea change it was going to be to everybody's mindset, was from a junior press manager who said, if I'm really honest, I work in a dying marketplace. I work in old media, and new media and the digitalization of media represents a threat to me. I didn't agree with that. Actually, I think the digitalization of all media is having a profound effect on all media, not least press, the way that content is disseminated and moved from platform to platform, the way that it's created, the way that digital is affecting the way that printing techniques develop. It's actually really exciting. Much of the way that we interact with media owners is set to change as well. In a data-rich environment, the development of ad networks, ad exchanges, and demand-side platforms and demand-side technologies is going to lead to more automation. But developing content and innovation with media owners, bespoke for brands, will increase and deliver competitive advantage when we get it right. Whether that's experiential content or beta testing with companies like Google, media owners will always be drawn to agencies that invest media budget with them. It's also a great time to be a media planner, being the nexus, the joining up department, across client objectives, their KPIs, working across all of this data, realizing opportunities in a changing media environment, and getting to input into the development of the big idea will make planners central to the new world of marketing. And capabilities, obviously, will also have to change as well. The way that we collaborate and integrate different specialist skills, whether that's within existing departments for those agencies that have them, across agency networks, and outside, and working collaboratively and very closely with other agencies. It's the agencies that collaborate most openly that are going to win in this new environment. Being a hub, being an integrator across all bought-owned and owned media will be key to serving future client interest. So in summary, the future model for media agency will be to build on existing foundations to a central interpretive and planning function. Clients like me, as I was 5 years ago, will flock to people that help clients navigate a path through complexity and become a growth engine for clients' business. Helping clients to thrive as ever is a really great way to thrive yourself as an agency. Agencies can be part of the development of the big idea as a facilitator of real consumer insight and media context. Clients, unsurprisingly, take the investment of their hard-earned media communications budgets very seriously. And I think we can all expect, with a lot of confidence, more rigor and more accountability through data to improve this even further. Helping clients associate and develop with media owner-generated content, innovation, beta testing will be important, increasingly important to deliver competitive advantage. And 5, I wanted to finish on coming back to where we are today, right now. In client companies, between different agencies, agency departments, the barriers that exist between specialist functions have got to come down. We've got to work much more closely together and better reflect the consumer experience. Thank you.